I'm feeling very chatty today, so you've been warned.
Like 2024 was magical in so many ways. This word is going to be probably one of the hardest words I've implemented as a word of the year. I do not want to have expectations for this year. Knock on wood, I'm doing so good. I'm doing so good.
Hello and welcome to a new vlog. Welcome if you're new here. Hi, I'm Andrea. I'm a full-time university writing instructor and a part-time content creator and indie author. Welcome back if you're one of my lovely returning friends. It is great to have you all here. Welcome to what feels like the first official vlog of 2025. We've done the New Year's Day vlog, but this feels like it's the first like totally normal getting back to work, back to normal life kind of vlog. My tree is still up, so that still makes it feel a little bit festive. The tree is going to come down this week, I promise. And I'm promising myself more than I'm promising you, because I feel like you guys don't really care, but I need that tree to come down by Friday. I do not want to deal with it over the last weekend before the semester starts on Monday. So it is the last week before the spring semester starts. I am getting back to work, but I'm not working full time. It's also Tuesday. I didn't do any work yesterday. Yesterday was Epiphany. I gave myself one last day of doing nothing and I enjoyed it. But today I need to start getting back to work. So I have something due to my department by the end of this week. I also have some teaching prep that needs to be done. Not a ton. I am mostly ready for my classes to start on Tuesday. There's a lot of stuff I can do on Monday. There's a couple things I just need to unpublish, I think, on Canvas and just double check this week, because I believe the Canvas shell is going to go live to my students on Thursday or Friday. So I just want to limit what they can see because not everything is done yet. So there will be some teaching prep that I do, but I'm trying to still relax as much as possible this week. So I'm probably going to be doing 2 hours of actual work stuff each day this week. And then I want to do some writing this week. We're going to do a whole writing update vlog in another video, and I'll give you a mini update today, but we'll do a full 2025 forecast in another video as far as the writing is concerned. So yeah, I want to do some writing this week. I want to continue to do a lot of reading. I've been doing a ton of reading so far this year. I'm up to my 4th book and it's a big one. I did some reading this morning. I'm not sure if I will have already shown you those clips or if I'm going to show you right now and overlay them here. But I woke up at about 5:40 by the time I got out of bed, got myself ready, got dressed for my hike, all of that stuff, and then went and parked myself on the couch in front of my Christmas tree and did some reading. I am more than halfway through reading Babel. This has been on my list for at least a year, if not 2. I remember when it first came out and thinking, oh, that sounds really good. I would like to read that. Just finally decided that I think it's time for me to read it, and I am loving it. We'll talk more about it when I'm done. I'll do a reading update so far in a future vlog, one of the next few vlogs probably. Yeah, did some cozy reading this morning, and then I have just come out for a nice sunrise hike. The sun is finally coming out, but it was pretty cloudy throughout most of my hike. Cloudy to the south and cloudy over the sun, but blue skies to the north. So everywhere the sun was covered with clouds, but everywhere that the sun wasn't is pretty much blue sky. So it was actually pretty nice. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about in this vlog. I feel like I'm feeling very chatty today, so you've been warned. But there's a lot to talk about. I do want to do a little bit of 2024 reflections, 2025 intentions. But this conversation, the reflection portion, is going to be done by the end of this vlog, and then we'll leave 2024 in the past. The 2025 intentions and goals and plans and all of that is going to continue. Like I said, we're going to do a whole separate 2025 like writing plans vlog. We'll do like a big writing vlog, 2025 writing vlog. I've got a lot that is cooking in my head about this channel and just changes that I'm starting to make, so probably won't talk about all of that in this vlog. Nothing bad, all good. Some of you are probably going to be like, it's about dang time. But that feels like that deserves its own separate video. So we're going to be talking about like general intentions and more my approach to intentions and goals and goal setting and planning, and how I am approaching goal setting and planning in 2025. That's what we're going to be talking about today, because I feel like my approach for this year is very different from how it's been in previous years. So I'm going to talk about some stuff that's come up in the workbook that I was working on as far as like reflecting and intention setting, what my word of the year is this year. We're going to go over that. I've got a couple errands to run. I need to swing by the pharmacy. I need to go by the post office and post a couple letters. Try to swing by one of my favorite coffee shops and get myself a latte so that I'm walking in my apartment, latte already in hand and not having to make one. Then I need to get home, get myself cleaned up, start getting some work done, maybe, and then we'll chat some more. So yeah, that's the plan and the hope and the wish and the dream for today's vlog. Get cozy, get comfy, settle in, and I have intentions for this vlog. I have thoughts for this vlog. We'll see if any of those actually come to mind, but honestly, this is going to be a year of just taking things day by day, moment by moment, minute by minute, second by second, and just seeing what happens. So yeah, let's just see what happens in this vlog.
Okay, it is now later in it's almost noon. It's almost noon. I've been working, checked my email, and I've done some little work bits on my work laptop. I had to call my dentist to reschedule my appointment. I was able to just push it back on the same day, but when I got the text reminder, I realized, oh shoot, it's right smack in the middle of when I'm supposed to be on Zoom at home doing office hours. Thankfully, I was able to push it back to later that same day. Did stop by the pharmacy. They didn't have my prescription, but then I went to the post office. I got my letters posted, picked up something from the P.O. box, and then I went by Press and I got myself a very delicious latte and a very delicious pain au chocolat. I haven't started eating it yet, but this is probably going to be lunch basically here at my desk. So, because I'm not allowed to leave this desk until I have a full draft of my teaching narrative done. That is like the big task for today. And I think I can do that in about an hour. I'll eat lunch here at my desk. I've already had some other, I had an apple and some cheese when I first got back. So like, I don't need to stop and do a big lunch. I can eat here at my desk, and I'd rather do that and get this done, like to the point that I want it to be done, so that I can then relax for the rest of the day and talk to you lovely people. But there was a card in the P.O. box. The envelope was ripped. It was already open, but the card looks fine, so thankfully the card survived. It came all the way from Australia, which is very exciting. So this is from Charlotte and her wife Sarah. So, and their dog Rosa, it looks like. She even drew a little paw print, which is super cute. And it's addressed to me, dearest Andrea, and mom, dad, sister, Gus, and remembering Lexi Lou. So I will share the card with them. Charlotte, thank you so much. So yeah, really, really cute card. I'm gonna put this up on my fireplace mantle with the rest of the cards. But yeah, I just thought I'd turn the camera on, procrastivlog for just a little bit, just a couple minutes or 10 or so. And I thought we would just do the 2024 reflections portion of this vlog, completely close out 2024. I'm ready. I am. Like, 2024 was magical in so many ways. I went to England for the first time in quite a while, and I got to go back with mom. That made it even more special. We visited places that we hadn't been before. So we kind of revisited some of our favorite places in London, but then we did some new things in London. We went to Battersea Power Station and did the lift experience there, which was really cool. We went out to Greenwich, which mom had done, but I hadn't. We did a day trip to Bath, which I had done, but mom hadn't. We had the best roast lunch. We had a few good roast lunches though, two. I think we were only there for 2 Sundays, but we managed to do Sunday roast on both Sundays we were there. The one at Roast in Borough Market, which was epic, and the one that we did at Brown's in Oxford, which was also pretty epic, the way that they stacked everything. So amazing food in all the different places we went to. But then, like, we went up to York, which was new for both of us, and saw so many amazing things in York. It just truly was incredible, and had amazing food in York as well. Tamsin recommended some really good places, and then mom and I found some really good places, like the Star Inn, or the Star in the City or something. I can't remember what it was called. It was right along the river, and it was just, the food was just incredible, and the atmosphere was really great. And walking along the river, going to dinner and afterwards, like, you all, those of you who watched the vlogs, you saw it. I fell completely in love with York. I did. And I really want to go back so bad. But then after York, we went down to Oxford, and mom and I both love Oxford. We had so much fun, but because we had a little bit more time there than usual, we got to take a whole day to go out to Blenheim Palace. And that day, I mean, the whole trip was magical. So it's not that any one day was better than the other or more magical than the other, but honestly, Blenheim Palace felt like a fairy tale. Like, our whole day at Blenheim just felt like an absolute fairy tale. And I was getting so many ideas for novels. I mean, the whole trip was very inspiring as a writer, and I missed England so much. Like, I think over the years of not going, like with the pandemic, year after year of not going, it's not that I stopped loving England or stopped wanting to go, but I think it just, I knew that it just wasn't possible for a while. And so I knew that I would really damage my mental health if I dreamt about it too much. And so I was totally using my novels. Honestly, would I have written 3 more books in the Across the Pond series? Probably. If I had been able to continue going regularly, probably. But I do think a huge reason why I just continued developing that series was because I just wanted to go back to London, and that series allowed me to do that. So England was definitely one of the top 3 things, if not the top moment or experience of 2024. Very closely tied. I feel like I'm about to say it's tied or Tamsin's going to be upset with me. Tamsin's visit. I just feel like England was perfect. England was the best because I had Tamsin in England as well, whereas her visit here, like, was probably her highlight of the year, but like, I was still in Arizona. I would have much rather gone to England a second time to see her. But I'm really glad that she got to come back to Arizona, because I know visiting Arizona was top of her list for years. She's been wanting to come back here since she left in January 2020, just as much as I've been wanting to go back to England since I last left in October of 2019. So like, we both had that experience of having a previous visit where the moment we left, we were already starting the countdown timer of when we could go back. So I'm really glad that she got to come visit, and we did so many things that I had never done, and so it made her visit even more special, which is why it's still a top memory of the year. Like, it is probably tied with England, because I don't know that I would have done some of the things that we did if she hadn't come to visit. I don't think I would have gone to the Japanese Friendship Garden, and that was an absolutely magical fairy tale kind of day. The Grand Canyon was bucket list. I mean, I'd been before, but it had been about 20 years, if not more than 20 years, and I had been desperate to go back, and it exceeded every hope and expectation I had had. It just, the beauty cannot be articulated. I feel like writers and poets and artists and photographers could spend their whole careers, their whole creative careers, trying to capture the beauty and magic of the Grand Canyon in their creative work and still wouldn't succeed. It really is something that has to be seen to be believed. So the Grand Canyon was just amazing. Going to Prescott was really fun, because we did parts of Prescott that I hadn't done before. So I'm glad we got to share that with Tamsin. Vlogmas was amazing this year. I will never, like, knock on wood, but I don't ever want to do a supersized Vlogmas again. That was a lot, and God bless all of you who watched every day of that extended Vlogmas. I wish I could give you all gold stars, or some sort of participation trophy through the mail, because you deserve it. That was a lot. It was intense. It was so much editing. I definitely felt a bit burned out by the end of it. I feel great now. Like, I'm ready to get back to vlogging. I'm ready to get back to vlog editing. Like, it's all good. But that was a lot. I think a normal Vlogmas is all we're doing from now on. So yeah, Vlogmas was amazing. I think that's probably like the third of the top three. I think England, Tamsin's visit, and Vlogmas are like the three highlights of the year. The lowlights, I think there are two that really stand out. Obviously losing Lexi. That's the one thing that if I could, I'm gonna make myself upset. But if there's one thing I could snap my fingers and undo, that would be it. I could handle everything else that happened last year, but that's the one thing that still just completely wrecks me when I think about it. So we're gonna move on. The other low light, I think, is, or the other low point rather, is just the nosedive that my mental and emotional health took towards the end of the year. There's definitely something changing in my body. I'm feeling so much more sensitive and emotional, and I'm just struggling to cope with things. Like, I can cope with things. I can do my job. I can do these vlogs. But the energy it takes to deal with them is a lot. I still need to find a new doctor. That is top priority for this month. It was a priority for last month, for December, but with Tamsin's visit and Vlogmas and everything, and finishing up the semester, I overestimated what I could do. And it's not that finding a doctor isn't as simple as just picking a name and calling that office and making an appointment. So it's just, I haven't had the bandwidth to do it. You know, I got the answers, or sort of, as far as the IBS stuff was concerned. All the GI tests, everything came back negative. So the stomach issues are my IBS, but clearly something is making my IBS worse. And I think it's related to the emotional stuff, which I think is perimenopause. But I need a new doctor because my current doctor doesn't think it's possible at all that it could be that. So yeah, 2024 was overall amazing. It did have some big things that were not so amazing. And I don't want to let those things make me feel like 2024 was a horrible year, because it wasn't. Like, I'm so proud of myself for getting on that airplane. I really cannot express that enough. I'm so desperate to go back to England this year, but like, I definitely need to do something about my flight anxiety, because every time I think about getting on a plane, I can feel like my heart starts to race and my breathing gets all funny and like tears come to my eyes, and the thought of getting on a plane completely sends me into a panic. And I'm wondering if some of that is also connected to the general anxiety and emotional upheaval that everything else that's happening. Like, I think these things are all connected, but the flight anxiety is, I think, being aggravated by the other stuff, but then that makes traveling really, really hard. So yeah, I'm hoping by the time I would actually be getting on a plane that I'll have gotten some answers as far as the other stuff. So yeah. Anyway, this has been a long ramble. And I think that's everything for 2024. Like, 'twas the best of times, 'twas the less than best of times, basically. But overall, it was magical, and I'm excited about what 2025 could bring. We will talk about that in a little bit, though. I need to get to work. It's 12:14. I really don't want to work on this teaching stuff past 1 o'clock. So I'm going to set a timer for 45 minutes. We'll go slightly over 45 because I'm still talking to you for a second. So 45 minutes on the clock, and see if I can get a rough draft of my teaching narrative done, and then we can talk about more fun stuff then. I need my iPad. I don't know where I put it. It was over here, and then I guess I put it back on the couch, because I did have some notes in here in the workbook. I want to talk about, well, first let me give you the update. Where are we at? What are we doing? I finished the rough draft of my teaching narrative. So that's done. That's ready. I think tomorrow I can edit it and then submit it. I included in that, I did my reflection of my course evals, which were generally positive, so I'm very grateful for that. I had looked at them back in December when I first got them, so I knew they were mostly positive, but today I let myself like look at them in detail. So I've done that. I've sent some emails, some more emails, and I have closed down my work laptop for the day. So I just want to step away and then come back, look at it with fresh eyes tomorrow, edit my personal narrative, and then hopefully be able to post and submit everything tomorrow. And then I can do some more work on class prep. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm done working for the day. I did end up doing more than 45 minutes, but it's all good. But now I want to talk about my word of the year. I choose a word of the year every year, and have done for quite a few years now, probably several years now. And it's been a really useful process. This concept has popped up in a few places. The Year Compass workbook asks you to do it. The Susanna Conway workbook asks you to do that. She also has a separate workbook particularly to help you pick your word of the year. So that's really useful. Jessica Rose Williams, in her book Enough, talks about the importance of picking a word of the year. So it's something that's popped up in a few different places, and I know other people who do it as well. And I really like it. I prefer doing that to resolutions. I don't make resolutions. I don't particularly like resolutions. They don't work for me. They just end up being a figurative stick for me to beat myself with throughout the year. But I do really like doing a word of the year. So I've got the Susanna Conway workbook, the Unravel Your Year, pulled up because I just wanted to use these notes just to keep me on track, hopefully. So my word of the year for 2025 is release. This word is going to be probably one of the hardest words I've implemented as a word of the year, but possibly also one of the most important ones. I want it to be a regular, I'm just reading this. The question was, how will this word support you in 2025? And I said, it will be a regular reminder. I want to release the fear and anxiety I've been feeling. Also release emotions and not hold things in. I want to release expectations, let go of perfection, let go of stress, just release and let go of all the stuff that's weighing me down. I'm going to be doing a lot more decluttering, so there will be a physical release and letting go, but then there'll be mental, emotional, letting go of dreams that aren't working for me. We've talked about this here on this channel before. 18-year-old Andrea thought that 40-something-year-old Andrea would have a husband and kids and a house in the Phoenix suburbs and a dog and a cat and, you know, a completely different life than what I live. And I haven't given up on some of those things, but if they happen, they will happen in a very different way. So I need to let go of the old version of that dream and think about what could a new version at this age and at this stage of my life, what could that look like? And be focusing more on that, if that makes sense. I no longer want to buy a house in Phoenix and live in the suburbs of Phoenix. So letting go of that dream is pretty easy, I think, because it's not what I want anymore. But like, that's what I'm talking about. There's old dreams that just don't work for me anymore. And I feel like beating myself up for not achieving those dreams is holding me back from working towards the new version of those dreams that I do want more, like moving to England. The stress and anxiety is another big thing. I need to let go of that. Some of it is chemical and hormonal, and I don't have as much control over it, but I do have control to an extent over how I react when the stress and anxiety and fear spirals begin. I have been in therapy long enough to recognize when I'm starting to spiral and to know what to do to stop that spiral. And so I need to be a lot more conscious about that, because the amount of stress and anxiety that I was feeling throughout the second half of this year is not healthy. And it is going to start causing significant physical health problems for me if I don't start taking it more seriously. Letting go of unsustainable work practices that contribute to my burnout, another big thing I need to let go of. The problem for me is going to be that most of these things, if not all of these things, are firmly baked in to my type A, overachiever, perfectionist personality. And so letting go of perfection, letting go of feeling like I have to do all the things to be successful, starting to get very strategic and specific about what actually matters to me. Where do I want to put the majority of my energy towards, or what do I want to put the majority of my energy towards? Because I can't keep putting so much energy to a million different things. I am burning myself out. It has been over 6 years. This year will be 7 years, I think. This May, if I'm doing my math right, and I'm not good at math, but if I'm doing my math right, this May will be 7 years since I finished my PhD. I should not still be this burned out. And it's because since graduating, I've never given myself the chance to rest. I've continued to stay in that hyper-productive, hyper-focused, hyper-motivated mindset of I have all these big goals I have to pursue. And, you know, publishing 8 books in 4 years. It's been 8 books in 4 years, I think. Or 5 years. I think December was my 5th anniversary, which I completely missed that. December 25th, 2024. Yeah, that was 5 years. Darn it. Across the Pond one. A Brave Start is 5 years old, and I completely overlooked that birthday. I was so busy with Christmas, to be honest. But yeah, like 8 books in 5 years. Slightly under 5 years, because Forever Love London book 8 came out in, well, book 4 of the series, book 8 overall, that came out at the end of October. So 8 books in 4 years and 10 months, that's a lot. That's not as much as some, and when you're in the indie author circles, you'll feel like 8 books is nothing in that amount of time. There are people who put out 8 books in 1 year, but 8 books is a lot. There are traditionally published authors who don't put out even half that many books in that amount of time. I've not let myself relax, so letting go of that need to just do more. Sometimes more is just more. More isn't always better, and I think that's what's finally starting to register in my brain. So yeah, release is going to be important. I also, just one last thing, I also want to let go of emotions, and I don't mean not feel the emotions, I mean the opposite. I want to allow myself to feel things, because what's happening is I'm holding that in, and just as holding in and keeping an iron grip on stress and anxiety, holding on to sadness is also not serving me. It's not helping. So if I have a day where the emotions are just overwhelming me, I'm going to let myself cry. I'm going to let it out. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to feel it and let it move through me and not feel like I'm resisting it and holding on to it. So I want to try to be less reactive to situations, but when I do have a reaction, I don't want to drag it out by holding on to it. I want to be able to release it and let it flow through me and move out of me so that I don't stay in that headspace. So yeah, there's a lot of things I'm letting go of and I'm releasing, but those are just some of them, and that's just hopefully a bit of a discussion of how I'm approaching this year from the perspective of my word of the year. So I'd love to know if you picked a word for this year, and if so, what it is. So you can let me know in the comments. But one of the other things I'm letting go of are expectations, but that deserves its own segment. So I'm going to step away from the desk because I just need a break. I need to stand up and move a little bit. I've been sitting here for too long. So I'm going to go start taking some of the ornaments off this tree. I've got 3 boxes of ornaments that need to be packed back up. I'm going to try to get at least 2 of those packed back up. So I'm going to put on some Christmas music, a little bit longer, take some ornaments off the tree, and then we can sit back down and talk a little bit more about expectations for the year and how I'm approaching goal setting and planning a little bit differently this year. We'll talk about that and do some writing after I put some ornaments away. 2 boxes of ornaments have been packed up, and I'm feeling a lot better about that. Honestly, it probably wouldn't take that long to wrap up the last of them and take the tree down, but tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. The Christmas tree is one thing I'm not quite ready to let go of. By the end of the week for sure, but for right now, not so much. But yeah, going back to what I was hinting at or teasing at or starting to say in the last segment, one thing that I am going to try to let go of this year, and I think this is going to be the real challenge, is expectations. I do not want to have expectations for this year. And this is something that I feel like I need to explain just a little bit. So bear with me, get comfy if you're not already, because I need to just bounce ideas and just talk this through with all of you. I've been thinking about this over the last definitely 24 hours, probably 2 days, as I've been thinking about like all the things I want to be letting go of and releasing this year, along with my word, you know, in keeping with my word of the year. And expectations, that word and that idea, it keeps coming up. So I've read a lot of books about happiness and mindfulness and intentionality and slow living and things like that. And on the topic of happiness, and I think it's Mo Gadot who says this, and I might be paraphrasing, but in his book Solve for Happy, I think it's in that book that he explains that unhappiness is when your expectations don't meet your reality. So when the reality that you're presented with doesn't live up to the expectations that you've set, that's where unhappiness lies. A lot of this is coming from, and another reason why release is my word of the year, is it's all kind of coming back to where's my countdown? In 47 days, 9 hours, and 8 minutes, I will turn 44. And in 1 year, 47 days, 9 hours, and 8 minutes, I will turn 45, which just feels like a really big milestone age. 44 feels a certain kind of way because it's the year before 45, and because I'm just not where I thought I would be by 44. And that's another big thing I want to let go of, is this feeling of I'm not where I thought I would be. As you all have proven in your comments on my videos where I've talked about this, almost none of us are where we thought we would be by the age we are. Some of you are younger than me, some of you are older than me, some of you are pretty much the same age as me, but everyone kind of relates to that idea of I'm not where I thought I would be by X age. So that's a concept, that's a mentality I really want to let go of. I don't want to go into, or at least I don't want to spend all of my 44th year feeling like I'm behind and life is moving past me. I don't want to feel that way this year. So I'm about to turn 44, 45 is coming up. I am too damn old to continuously feel so unhappy in a life that is overall more than I can ask for. There is nothing wrong with my life. My life hasn't gone the way I thought it would, but it has turned out better in some ways. I have a PhD. Never thought that would happen. I've published 8 books. Definitely never thought that would happen. I have a very nice apartment in a very lovely part of town. I can go hiking in an absolutely incredible park on a daily basis. Not so much in the summer, but no one's life is perfect, right? I have a job that I generally enjoy. No job is perfect. There are far worse jobs I could have, and there are so many, the pros of my job far outweigh the cons. You know, every job is going to have its things that drive you a little bit nuts, but overall, I do enjoy my job. So like, fundamentally, there is nothing wrong with my life. The things that I feel like are causing unhappiness are 98% in my head. Again, there are always exceptions, so I'm leaving that 2%. There's probably 2% of things that cause stress and anxiety that are legitimate issues that need to be addressed and aren't in my head, but the majority of them are in my head. Like, they are all self-constructed. I am making a bigger issue out of them than they need to be. So I'm tired of feeling this way. I feel like, God willing, I live to be 90. So 45 is middle age. I'm halfway there, right? If I live to 90, I've lived half my life is gone, but I still have half my life left. Hopefully a little more than half. I feel like I've wasted a lot of time and energy in the past 43 years, and I've missed out on chances of happiness over the past 43 years by convincing myself I will be happy when I get a better job, I make more money, I can travel more, I can get a bigger apartment or buy a house, I meet a guy, I have a family, I lose weight. That was a very common one. That caused me a lot of misery over the years. I will be happy when I accomplish or achieve some sometimes fairly nebulous goal that I am setting off in the future. I want to be happy now. And so if unhappiness is the result of our expectations not meeting our reality, what happens if I give up having expectations? What happens if I just allow myself to enjoy all the positive moments that happen in each day? What if I approach life from a perspective of curiosity and openness to just see what can happen rather than deciding what I want the outcome to be? And so this is part of what also needs to be explained. Some of you might be wondering, so you're not going to be pursuing any goals? You're not going to make any plans? No, that's not what we're talking about. I am not setting expectations for the results of the things that I'm going to be working on. So I still want to publish my 9th book, which will be book 4 of the Independent Heart series. I want to continue writing book 5 of Across the Pond. We'll talk more about writing goals and stuff in another vlog. So like, I'm still gonna have book stuff I'm working on. I'm still gonna have YouTube stuff that I'm working on. I've still got goals for my teaching, my full-time job. There's things that I have to do, but then there's things that I want to do. So I'm still gonna be working towards things for that. I'm still going to be working towards goals, and I'm still going to have hopes for things. I feel like England is a good example here. I want to go back to England this year. I want to go to England at some point in 2025. A lot of you know this. A lot of you also want me to go back to England this year because you really enjoyed the vlogs from last year. So I really want to go to England, and I don't want to offend anyone when I say this. I don't like manifestation as a concept. It just doesn't work with me. I don't like it. It gives me the ick a little bit. If it works for you, great. Don't change it. Don't listen to me. Just forget everything I just said. But it doesn't work for me. I am not going to sit here and have the expectation and proclaim to myself, I am going to England this year. I'm not going to do that. Conversely, I'm not going to be negative. I'm not going to say, I'm totally not going to England this year. It's not going to work out. Even though right now, where I'm at in this moment, I have to admit, it looks a little unlikely. It most likely is not going to happen in May because I would have to be booking those tickets right now to go in May. I am not in the position to book those tickets. So end of summer is plan B. December is plan C. As soon as I am able to go to England, I'm going to go to England. So I can have the expectation one day I will go back to England. I'm just not going to have the expectation for 2025 that I'm going to go. I have the hope. It is something that I am working towards. But if I sit here every day and say, I am going to England this year, and then for some reason I can't go to England, I am not prepared for the level of disappointment that that will cause in my life. So I'm going to hope that I can take that trip. I'm not going to expect to take that trip. Now, if any of you want to sit there and manifest England for me and for the vlogs this year, I'm not going to tell you not to. But I just can't go there. I cannot live with the disappointment of expecting something to work out and then having it not. And I feel like I have been disappointed far too many times in my life by my reality not living up to my expectations. And I just want to try seeing what can happen if I let go of those expectations and just allow myself to work towards things, but enjoy the process of working towards those goals rather than living for the expectation of the outcome of those goals. And I feel like I'm starting to talk in circles, and I feel like I could talk about this for another 14 minutes and 45 seconds. So I'll try to wrap this up. But I want to let go of the unhappiness that comes from setting expectations that are often, the expectation is the result of something that is out of my control. I just want to spend the year working on the things that I do have some amount of control over. I have things that I want to work on and things that I'm hoping will work out and that will make England possible. But if they don't, I just, some of this will make more sense in a future video when I talk about my writing and my YouTube goals. I just feel like this is the last year that I can try to pursue some of these goals, and it could have a negative impact on my ability to save. But if they work out, they will make annual London trips a more possible thing. So the reward could be worth the risk. But even if even if it doesn't pan out, even if my hopes for this year, my plans for this year are a complete failure, that will be a learning lesson for me. And I will be in a better position next year to move forward in a different direction that will serve me better. So yeah, I'm letting go of expectations. And I'm just seeing where things are going to go. They might end up worse than I would have expected. They might end up better than I would have expected. They might exceed my wildest expectations. So yeah, still going to be working towards things, still going to be having goals and plans. We'll talk about those in more detail in a future vlog, as most of them are YouTube and writing related. So I just want to package that in their own vlogs. That's going to be a whole other vlog's worth of stuff to discuss. So there are things I'm working towards, but I'm going to be working towards those things from a perspective of just seeing where they take me rather than setting expectations for where I want them to take me, if that makes sense. So that's that. I hope that was interesting. I hope that helps. Let me know if any of this is resonating with some of you, if the idea of letting go of expectations and just seeing how things go. I want to enjoy this year. I want to focus on letting go of all the stuff that's not working for me, so that when I turn 45 in a little over a year from now, I can do so in a much happier, more whole kind of place than where I feel I am right now. For now, I want to do some writing because I have been writing every day since, not like, I think just since Monday, actually. Let's not make it sound better than it is. January 3rd, so Friday, because it's only Tuesday, Andrea. So yeah, I did start writing again for the year on January 3rd. So I've got 4 days down. I want to write today and see how much I can do, because I am getting very close to a milestone with the word count, and we'll talk about that once I'm done writing, if I've hit that milestone, which I think I should. Okay, it is 4:14. Just about time, I think, to wrap up this vlog. I'm done writing for the day, so I think I'm gonna go read for a little bit before dinner and just start relaxing. I've worked a little bit later today than I had technically wanted to, but I did do a lot of reading this morning before my hike, so I feel like I'll still get in a good amount of reading time. I'm really loving reading right now. Yeah, I feel like I didn't read that much last year compared to previous years. And there were stretches where like, there'd be like a whole week where I didn't read anything. So it's been really nice. I've read 3 books already in the first, it's January 7th. So 3.5 books, which technically the book I'm currently reading should count as 2 books because it's twice as long as like some of the books I read earlier. Yeah, so I'm just enjoying reading, so I want to go do some more reading. But writing has gone very well. We will do a full writing update with plans and goals for the year and stuff like that. That will be probably the next video. But in the meantime, update, I've crossed 70k in this manuscript. I have also, as of today, finished chapter 15. So I've got 5 chapters and the epilogue left. And if I'm aiming for, like, I'm doing the math now. I am, knock on wood, I'm doing so good. I'm doing so good. I'm at 70,785 words out of a projected 100. So as long as the last 5 chapters are no more than 5,000 words, and they've been averaging around, like chapter 15 ended up being 4,500, chapter 14 was 3,700. I'd say 4,000 to 4,500 is probably about my average. So I should come in right at around 100,000 words, possibly even a little less. So yeah, just over 70k. I did 1,500 words today, 1,511. I finished chapter 15. It's going so well. I'm also now writing to a deadline. So all last year when I started working on this book again, I wasn't working to a deadline. I didn't have a deadline set in Scrivener. I was just writing and just seeing how that felt and seeing how that went. And I think it worked out really well. Again, I think it's to do with like not having expectations and just enjoying the process. It worked out really well with this project, so fingers crossed it works out well with everything else in my life this year. But yeah, I was just letting myself just go with the writing flow, essentially. But I do really want to get this book done sooner rather than later. That being said, I have set my deadline as February 23rd. So I feel like I just really want to be done with it before my birthday. I can't believe I'm at 70,000. I really can't. And I can't believe that I'm like not even 3/4 of the way through my word count, but I am 3/4 of the way through my chapter count. So my projection of 100,000 is looking really good, which means even if in developmental edits I add more than I delete, I still don't think this would end up being more than like 101, 102,000. But I know there'll be things that I delete as well as add, so I think it's good. I'm really proud of myself for starting writing again when I did, for not letting it drag out and like wait until today to start writing. Because like I think it was at like 63,000 or something. So I did 1,638 on January. I need to just add this up because I'm actually really curious how much I've written just in the first not even full week of January. 6,897 words in 5 days. Almost 6,900 words in 5 days. I'll take it. I will totally take that. I'm thrilled with that. And it would have been very easy for me to convince myself to just wait and start today and take that time off. But over the last few days, it has felt really good to write when I haven't also had work and stuff. Yeah, it's been a good day. My hike was beautiful. Errands went well. The coffee from Press was delicious. Chatting with you all. I've missed chatting with you all, so I hope you've enjoyed the chat today. I hope it's helped you all think differently maybe, or just helped in how you want to think about how you're moving forward to next year. I'll talk more about goals, specific goals and plans in a future vlog. Again, if not the next one, then one very soon. It might still get split up, like, because I just have a lot. I have a lot that I'm thinking about and a lot that I'm wanting to work towards, and I am, like, as you can tell, although I will have edited this down, I was pretty chatty today, and I am thinking a lot about things, and it's all just kind of crashing around in my brain, and I am struggling just a bit with how to articulate things. It's all good stuff. There is far more to look forward to this year than there is to be anxious or nervous about. So we're just gonna let go of the anxiousness and the nerves. It's all gonna be fine. So yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this vlog. I hope you did. If you did, give it a thumbs up. That's how you can let me know that you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. That would be amazing. Say hi in the comments. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how January is treating you so far. Let me know if you're excited for a whole new year of cozy at home work and writing vlogs. Lots more to come up. Leave me some cloud emojis because it has been overall a fairly cloudy day today, and that has made me very happy. In the comments, let me know what your word of the year is if you have chosen one, or just let me know, are you setting a lot of goals and expectations this year? If that's what you need, then go for it. It's not a bad thing. It's just not working for me, especially this year. So let me know. Are you setting a lot of goals and expectations, or are you taking a more let's just see what happens approach, like I kind of am? Let me know. I'm very curious. I'm gonna now go get on with the rest of my evening. I will show you snippets of my cozy evening and what I get up to. It's mostly going to be reading and watching YouTube, but I will show you a little bit of that, and I will see you all very soon in the next vlog. Thank you very much for watching today. Bye!